Hello there and welcome to episode 152 of BigRedBarel's Geek Speak podcast, the place for all your nerdy needs on BigRedBarel.com. My name is Diarmuid and I'm your dangerously darling host for this episode. Joining me today is Alex, the Baroness of Butts herself. How are you, Alex?
I'm good, and it's The Chilling Adventures of Buttocks.
The Chilling Adventures of Buttocks.
Why is it chilly? Is the buttocks
chilling.
Exposed?
The chilling.
I don't make the rules.
They're scary buttocks, because it's Halloween.
What makes butts scary? Cellulite?
Plenty. There are plenty of things that make buttocks scary.
I mean, I disagree, but okay.
And you heard the dulcet tones of the jaunty,
Dulcet
jubilant
tones.
juggernaut of Joe.
I love that you say dulcet when I still sound like a bag of crabs. Like,
Yeah.
I just... Yeah, hi.
I'm trying to be nice, Joe.
I think I am improving. I think it is slowly getting better.
I don't know what you're talking about. I love your sexy,
My
Phoebe voice.
Sexy voice.
Yeah. What was it that she was singing? Sticky shoes or something like that.
My sticky shoes.
I do hope you're taking advantage of this voice, by the way, Joe. I do hope you're taking advantage of it.
Well, how? Well, yeah. Listen to me. Take advantage of it right now. The screaming's been good on the stream.
Excellent. Really throaty.
That's not how I thought you were going to finish
like
the sentence.
A proper throaty scream. Like that.
Well, porridge monsters tend to do that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to quickly move on to the time waster of the week. And this is courtesy of me. But actually, it was sent to me by our friend Calvin.
Yeah, we made both of us watch it. Yes.
So this is a documentary on YouTube. It's about an hour long from Gameumentary. I hadn't actually heard of them before, but they've been around for a little while. And it's regarding Divinity Original Sin and the Larian Studios, the guys behind it.
I would say it's more about Larian than actually Divinity Original Sin, because they go through most of the, all the games they've done. Yeah. And pretty much all the, original sins. So it's a story of Larian, basically.
Yeah, it really is. And it goes into quite a bit of detail, and it's not like a PR puff piece either. They go into some stuff that, even in today's kind of climate where we're holding developers, I hope, to a little bit a higher standard. Like, there's the amount of times where your man kind of says, yeah, and I had to let a load of people go. But you can actually see it on his face. That crushed him.
Yeah.
And, the history of that studio, Larian Studios, is one that of kind of this really, what sounds like, based on what they were saying, a very kind of indie start. I just found it really interesting how they were this really small group of people who were amazed that you could actually make money making video games, then realizing that it's actually difficult to make money making video games, and somehow still surviving through all of that turmoil, and then kind of always wanting to make the game they wanted to make, sometimes having to delve into being devs for hire for a bit just to make ends meet, but eventually getting the backing of fans and so on to actually make what they wanted to make in the first place, which in the end really turned out to be Divinity Original Sin. It was just, I think it's a really, really good documentary. As I've talked about on this show before, I'm a huge fan of NoClip, and this is at least as high a quality, kind of like the editing's well done, the interviews are nice and long form, and they don't kind of intercut it or, cut people off. They kind of leave them just kind of talk about their experiences, and you get some really raw stuff from it, which is quite good. As I said, the main guy, the guy that was in charge, I just loved hearing him talk, because he kind of goes into some of the bad times they went through, and the fact, he was saying, if we didn't get stuff sorted by the end of the month, we'd have to close the studio, by the end of the month. But the way he talks, he knows that was down to bad management on his part, but he was never a manager before. He kind of got into this job right out of college, and just sort of, got a few friends together and started making games. And it's just, I just found it really interesting.
Yeah, and they had a couple of sort of disappointing experiences with publishers as well,
exactly,
which added to the problem. But yeah, it's a really good documentary. I think the questions that were asked were good questions, and the answers that were given were honest, nice answers. And it is, to me, that is kind of the story of survival, because they're constant up. This game was going so well. We're getting this great Metacritic score, and then down. Oh, we have no money, and we have to fire everyone by the end of the week. And then ups again and downs again. And, well, you'll hear what I have to say about Divinity later in the episode.
There's a nice tease for you. But yeah, if you're looking for to waste about an hour, then this is certainly a good documentary. If you're interested in the channel as well, they have some other good long form documentaries. I think they did one on the Darksiders franchise, and they also did one on Kingdom Come Deliverance. And they've also apparently secured a contract with Enthusiast Gaming to produce new documentaries for the next 2 years.
Cool.
So it's a channel that I've subscribed to now because I kind of look forward to those. They also have kind of shorter videos like reviews and stuff, but their long form stuff seems to be really, really well produced. So that's the kind of stuff that got me into it. So yeah, it's really, really cool.
Nice. And on the similar subject, NoClip are filming for some new stuff right now. When you mentioned NoClip, I just was reminded. I think their next documentary is going to be about Half-Life, so that's really interesting.
Be really interesting.
That's really interesting. And the thing that I like about NoClip is they really kind of go the extra step to kind of make the documentaries immersive in terms of setting and things like that. So yeah, and obviously Danny O'Dwyer's always been a great journalist, and it's just fascinating what he's being able to do with this documentary series now. So yeah, really cool. And this sounds cool as well. I might have to check that out.
Do absolutely.
Yes.
All right, let us skip on to the news. That's as close as we're getting to an intro. So
a jingle. We need a jingle. It's the news. It's time for the news. Do you want some news? Here comes some news.
I can't beatbox. I don't know why I'm trying to do this.
So the first story I came across when I was kind of seeking out stories for us to discuss was one that I was like, wait, what? So apparently Clueless, the 90s classic teen comedy, is being remade by the writers of Glow and Girls Trip. Now, I haven't seen Girls Trip, and I've seen an episode or two of Glow.
I've seen a season of Glow. It's great.
Excellent.
Yeah, Davo watches Glow. He seems to like it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're not aware, Clueless, as I said, is a teen comedy from like
it's
95.
Iconic. Clueless is iconic.
It is.
Did you know that Paul Rudd wasn't there? Because
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's super weird because he's like essentially sort of her half brother in the film. And spoilers! Hang on, I'm not going to say the spoilers. Sorry, I just realised like someone might be listening who might not have seen it. But yeah, it's a bit weird. But yeah, he's in it. He's very good.
What's really weird is Paul Rudd seemingly hasn't aged a day, so he can basically play the same character again.
He's obviously drinking the same tonic that Keanu Reeves is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they've all got like this secret Hollywood club of gorgeous men who are all like, everyone drink this tonic and you won't age. Yeah.
Can they bring it into a mass market, please? And it doesn't work with women. Because I'm pretty sure Angelina Jolie drinks the same one. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, possibly.
This is, this was the film that introduced me to Alicia Silverstone at the time. And Paul Rudd, obviously. Mm-hmm. Also Brittany Murphy, sadly.
Yeah.
Every time I see her in there, I'm like, ah.
Oh,
I know.
Tragic.
For me, it's with her.
Such
it's
a
film
cutie
called The Ramen Girl that she made not long before she actually died, and she plays like a girl who's in Japan and she learns how to make ramen, and it's just quite a nice sort of film about her finding herself through ramen. So that was cool. But yeah, and so every time I watch it, even though I love the film, I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, such a shame.
So yeah. Very little details yet on the remake, like what kind of take they're going to do in it. Is it just going to be a pretty straightforward remake? I don't think that kind of humor, like they would have to update all of the jokes. Because like Clueless is basically just a retelling of Emma.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in modern times. Modern times being 95, so...
That's the thing. I think, to be honest, I think this is okay, like doing a remake of this. I think if there was a story that is ripe for our current age, this is it. It could actually work quite well.
I just know my housemate Sean is not going to watch this purely because he'll have a fear that at some point the characters are just going to break out in a flossing dance. It's going to happen, and he's not going to want to be a part of that. So
avert your eyes.
I mean, tragic but true.
Yeah. God.
So what do you guys think? Do you think are you looking forward to it? Because like anything, I have an open mind and I want to see what it's going to be. I'm not going to say I'm a fan of Clueless. I haven't watched it in ages. I did enjoy it when I did watch it.
It's such a clever. Like, actually, you know what? It looks on the surface to be this kind of silly 90s comedy, but it's bloody clever, actually. It's really quite well observed. I got a lot of time for Clueless. It's really, really quite good. And in fact, I might watch it again because I think it's on Netflix. So
it is. It is.
I might watch it again.
I think I need to rewatch it again because I haven't watched it in ages.
It's Amy Heckerling did it, and she's no slouch when it comes to writing and directing. So it's a good film. It is a cracking film, and like I said, it became iconic. Like, people still dress up as Cher for Halloween, stuff like that. Like, it's just one of those films that just captured a moment in time and became something more than itself. And I'm very open, actually, to the idea of a new one. It's been it's been what? Nearly 30 years. Jesus Christ, we're all so old. No, hang on, 95, 2005.
95, come on, I'm not 30, what are you talking about?
It's been 20-something years. Okay, that's slightly better.
It's allowed to drink now. It's allowed to drink.
So I would watch a new one. Yeah, if it's done well, I would watch it. I think, the modern condition for teenage girls, it could actually be quite good.
What about you, Alex?
The reason I know that it's definitely on Netflix is because I talked about it on this very podcast, because I think I was sick for a day and I watched 3 movies, and one of them was Clueless, who I don't think I've seen start to finish ever. I've seen bits and pieces of it. And then there was a review of all of those movies on Geek Speak. And I can't remember what the other ones were, but I don't think they were that great. You know what? As for the remakes, I am the person who's always in the boat of, I like more original stuff, please. The remakes, sure. If it's coming out and if it's my favorite property, I'll watch it. For Clueless, I guess I'll watch it. Depends, who the cast is gonna be, what the spin is gonna be.
That's gonna be the key thing, yeah.
Yeah, sure. But am I, excited, jumping off my chair and in the air and screaming, Yahoo! Kind of person? No.
Excellent. All right, well, speaking of more unoriginal properties,
Yay!
Guillermo del Toro has been given the reins, finally. This is a project that he's been chasing for a while. Has been given the reins to direct Pinocchio. And he's apparently going to be doing this as an animated musical version of the story. So this is going to be really, really cool. Like, obviously, we're all big fans of Guillermo del Toro. He's apparently struck a deal with Netflix. Obviously, it's not very difficult for him to strike a deal anymore. All he has to do is walk into a room, plop the Oscar on the table, and he's got a deal.
And start the sentences like, me and my friend Oscar
would like to make this film. Give us all the money, please. And they will just go, yes, here is all of your money. Details are a bit sparse on the ground. The deal has only been struck very recently, but it's going to be made in collaboration with the Jim Henson Company, and he's going to be co-directing. So the guy he's co-directing with, Mark Gustafsson, he worked on Fantastic Mr. Fox,
this is ticking all the
boxes.
As
The Corpse Bride. So, yeah, I think Joe's really excited.
Yeah,
look, I know. She sounds like she's progressively crescendoed into an orgasm right there.
For one thing, I'm just so happy for Del Toro, because he's wanted to make this for years, for such a long time. And it's just nice, because he's such a nice person, that it's just nice that he's getting to do something he really wants to do. And all the talent involved so far is just absolutely ticking the boxes in terms of, this will be good. This isn't going to be, a dodgy, quick, cash grab kind of adaptation. They'll do this right. And I am so excited for this. Yeah, and Pinocchio is one of the most intriguing Disney stories. I mean, obviously, I know it's not a Disney story, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always been, it still terrifies me, that Disney film, to this day. Like, when he has his first trip and turns into a donkey, it's creepy as. Like, it's really... it's quite something. And can you imagine the Del Toro, what he'll do with that, what he'll do with the whole concept? I think it's great. I can't wait. I think it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm wondering what is his Jiminy Cricket just going to be what's his name, Jones, in another outfit again?
Yeah, right.
That's going to be really, really. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, anything with Del Toro's name is going to get my attention. Anything. And I haven't watched Pinocchio in years. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Obviously, it being animated probably means we're actually going to be quite a bit out from getting it. Because animation does take a lot longer than live action. So it's going to be interesting. Alex?
Yeah, sure. Cool.
The enthusiasm is bubbling out of you.
I love Del Toro well enough. I've watched a lot of his movies, not like the day they came out, but I caught up with them afterwards. I caught up with the Oscar one, The Shape of Water, and it was okay, Joe. It was okay.
What? I missed that. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Good. Continue not paying attention. Anyway, so yeah, I like Del Toro well enough. He's not.
Did you just say The Shape of Water was only okay? I've just caught up.
So
what?
In case you haven't.
No. It's a beautiful film. Oh my god.
Don't start with me. Anyway.
Gauntlets are being thrown down.
Oh yes. Anyway, look, my point is, right now I'm super excited, unexpectedly super excited for Dumbo, and I just can't even. And the thing is, I'm kind of opening I'm being open-minded about it, is what I'm trying to say in a very convoluted way for some reason. Because I remember my skepticism when they announced Dumbo, and I was like, well, this is not my favorite Disney story. Tim Burton hasn't done anything I loved in a very, very long while. I don't know how that's going to look like. And then, the trailer came out and my chair was wet. So with the Guillermo del Toro thingy, I love him well enough and I'll watch everything he says. Pinocchio is definitely not my favorite story/Disney story, so that kind of dials it down. But the fact that he's doing it animated picks the interest right back up. So at the moment, I'm like, give me a trailer.
Yeah. I'm not as enthused or as... I don't know how to describe this, basically. I'm not quite at the level of Joe in terms of excitement, but I'm also not as low, I don't know how to describe it, as yourself. I'm kind of in the middle. But, Del Toro has not disappointed me in quite some time. His films are never less than at least good, if not very good. And some of them are downright masterpieces. I still think Pan's Labyrinth is one of the best films ever made. You have that. So if you have his talent, and if he can manage to bring his A game to this, which I think from a guy who's wanted to do this for so long that, this is close to a childhood dream, then yes, I think he's going to deliver. So I'm really looking forward to it. But again, the director is obviously the most important part in terms of getting stuff done. But that doesn't mean that everything else needs to fall into place as well. So we still do need to see a cast. I'd love to find out what the who's going to play the various characters and how he's going to cast this. Is it going to be famous names? Is it going to be kind of unknowns that are there purely for their talent? What's going to happen? The fact that this is a musical, I'm going to get some flack for this. I'm not a huge fan of musicals. They do take me out of the experience more often than not.
On this topic, what are the famous songs from Pinocchio? Crickets?
Well, there is one from the cricket.
See, that is kind of my point.
Strings. I've got no strings to hold me down.
Yeah.
That one.
It's been ages since I've watched it, so I can't remember.
I know. You know what? The stupid Ultron has altered my interpretation of that song, and now it's ruined for me forever.
I can imagine. To be honest with you, the music was never the part of the story that I was interested in anyway. It was how this basically young boy goes through a very abusive sort of start to his life, but still manages to come out the end of it. Again, no spoilers. But you know what I mean? That was the part that interested me. It was never the music, but I could say that for most of the Disney stuff. Like, there's very few films where the story was outshone by the music, except for maybe Lion King.
Come on. If I tell you Hakuna Matata, do you know how to finish that sentence?
Except for Lion King. But to be honest with you, Lion King was basically just a retelling of Hamlet, so it was... Anyway...
a lot of them are retelling of one famous story another. If you think Disney came up with Little Mermaid, well,
I am
read
shocked.
the original one. There is a shocked ending there for you.
Oh my goodness.
Not expect.
Oh my goodness. But no, it's like, it's just the musical part of it that's kind of turning me, not off, but certainly down a few notches. I'm not quite wetting my chair, as you say. So it's one of those, I'm looking forward to this. I want to see what it is, and... yeah, it's Del Toro, so I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right, something else I'm actually incredibly happy about as well, because this has been going on for too bloody long. This was before... this kind of stuff was before the deal that when Disney bought Lucasfilm. So we've had rumors about them making a kind of a standalone Boba Fett movie for years. And various people have been involved. It's been like just as a concept. Sometimes there's been rumors there's been a script. All of this good stuff. Well, very recently, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that the Boba Fett movie is 100% dead. It's not happening.
Hallelujah.
Exactly.
Good. That's fine by me.
A lot of people are saying this might be to do with the poor performance of Solo. And it might be. But I'm kind of hoping that it's more a case that they're learning their lesson about what I hope that, like, they're still making freaking bucket loads of movies, but I hope whether it's learning their lesson or just the fact that they're making so much money, they realize now they can take a few more risks.
They can be more choosy. Yeah,
exactly.
They maybe realize that, hang on a second, we don't need to just churn out more and more stuff.
So I know that Jon Favreau is making a TV series about The Mandalorian.
Which, can I just add, that's a pretty good name for a TV series.
It is, yeah, that sounds pretty interesting, yeah.
Well done. Not that, I was questioning Jon Favreau ever, but, well done.
Good job, Favreau. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Pat. Well done, buddy.
I know it's relatively recently as well that Kathleen Kennedy was renewed. In a job, and that just made me so happy, because you can imagine all the salty fanboy tears on the internet, and I was just like, yes, because she has never been the problem. She is amazing at what she does. Kathleen Kennedy is one of the greatest producers working in Hollywood today, and she's cracking for the series, so I'm glad that she's still there. So that made me happy.
I do hope the fact that she's kind of signed on, one of the first things she does is kind of confirm that a long-running rumor is dead, and she's also put money behind this Mandalorian series.
Yes, yeah.
I do hope that herself and the rest of Disney and Lucasfilm kind of realize that they could really expand this. They could do some really interesting stuff in this universe. They just need to go for it, and people will follow. Like, you'll have those salty fanboys no matter what happens, but people will follow. People are going to go to these movies regardless. But if you don't put what I consider thought behind things, then it's not going to happen. So, like, Solo was disappointing because it was the most... Like, I've watched it recently. It's not a bad film. It's just... It could be any film. You could take that character, like, rename him, and change a few bits and pieces here and there, and like it wouldn't really relate to anything.
Yeah, here's the thing. It was a good sort of Western space movie, but you didn't need a name of Solo attached to it. Like, it could have been a story about someone else.
I don't think it added anything to the overall Star Wars mythos either.
It really didn't.
We didn't need to know how he grew up. We knew him during his best years, his Harrison Ford years. So we'll just leave it at that. But I would love to see them kind of expand the Star Wars universe and just do some different things. I've already talked about the multiple ideas I had in my head. Imagine a horror film set in the Star Wars universe.
On that note, reading in your notes, there's something that I didn't know about.
Go on.
But what it says is that all the Star Wars spin-offs plans in order to focus their attention on Star Wars Episode 9 and subsequent trilogy, which would conclude the story of Rey. I did not realize that next trilogy is going to be about Rey.
Me neither, actually. When I read that, I wasn't sure if that was something that was kind of assumed or what, but I think the trilogy they're talking about there is the one that Rian Johnson is dealing with.
Yeah, Rian Johnson trilogy, but I don't think he has confirmed what the trilogy is about.
No, I don't know.
I don't know where they're pulling that from.
That might be just speculation.
It could be speculation, but they do sound a bit certain of it in the... I don't know. It'll depend.
Who are these flickering people?
Let's see how legit they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it does focus on Rey, that would be interesting, especially with the direction they seem to be going, where she doesn't appear to be just a kind of a light side person. She kind of...
Wait for it. There's someone coming right back up. All the stuff Rian Johnson has done may be, completely erased from the history of Star Wars. Just yet.
That would be a shame.
It would be. But it could be.
But the most interesting story about that was, I remember reading an interview with Rian Johnson where he was basically, he was given the point where the characters ended in the film before his, and was just told to write a movie. And he was asked, "Can I do this?" And they were just like, "Yeah, whatever. Do what you want." And there was no, because he hadn't been signed on to do the 9. I think that was originally Colin Trevorrow, and then it changed to Jason.
Yeah.
But he wasn't given a kind of an end point, if you know what I mean, where they wanted the characters to be at the end of his movie, and he could write whatever he wanted in the middle. He was given free reign, and he took it, and he delivered a really interesting.
I love The Last Jedi, and I don't care about people that don't like it. Basically, no, that sounds really harsh, but I find that the reasons people don't like it are really silly reasons. If I'm honest. I think
a lot of them are. I had issues with the storytelling in it myself, but I liked the balls of it. I liked the fact that he kind of just went for it. That's what I always liked.
That's what I liked the most about it, is that it felt like an art film in the Star Wars universe. And I was like, yeah, have you, Rian Johnson? Fucking go for it. Like, yeah, do something completely different. Why not?
And I think that's why they did kind of almost immediately, even... I think it was before the film actually released.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Because we were like, damn, they must be good if they've given him a trilogy.
But I also think it's more of an idea, whether they thought it was good or bad in that particular Skywalker saga, blah, blah, blah. I think they realized just how good he is at making a movie within that universe, whether he stuck to what people would consider the rules or not. If they gave him his own trilogy, he could kind of design it the way he wants to. Like from scratch. Therefore, probably people would have less harsh eyes towards it then. Because when you come into the 8th film in a series, even if you don't get told it at the start, there are rules. You know what I mean? There are rules that have been established, and if you kind of circumvent them, go around them, or just completely break them, then there will be a backlash, whether deserved or not. But the fact that he's been given 3 films on his own that he can just go with might be really, really good. Now, is it related to Rey as the story suggests? We'll see. I don't think he'd want anything related to anything that already exists. I think he'd just like to take that universe and just go somewhere else. Because it's quite a big galaxy, but we seem to be sticking to the to just a few planets. It's like, there's plenty of other places to go, you guys.
Yeah, no, it's been good. And it's always good. Anything that can make, internet fanboys cry, that's going to make me happy. So good on you, Rian Johnson.
Speaking of internet fanboys crying, and this was me more than anyone else. So if you guys are aware of Alan Tudyk, you know that probably his greatest role was Wash in Firefly and the Serenity movie. And I don't think I'll ever hear I'm a Leaf on the Wind without shedding a tear.
Oh, die!
Sorry, but that's just me. However, I also know that Alan
too soon.
It's too soon.
By the way, if anyone out there has not watched Firefly or Serenity, get that.
I watched the movie. I didn't watch the series. I know. Don't judge me.
I'm judging. I am judging so harshly. I'm staring at the screen.
It was on at stupid times, wasn't it? It got done over by its scheduling.
And it's not on anything. Like, I'm amazed Netflix haven't picked it up. Like, it's only 13 bloody episodes. Just pick it up and put it on there.
Serenity's on there, and I really like the film. I thought it was good.
And, anyway, I don't want to keep going down that bloody rabbit hole. We'd be here all day. The reason I mentioned Alan Tudyk is because he is a fantastic voice actor.
Yes.
Everyone loves his what should be an Oscar-winning performance in Moana as Hey.
Yes,
as Hey.
Yes, I rewatched Moana maybe a week ago, and every time that stupid chicken came on, I was like, Hey.
I love Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk is incredibly talented, and the news that I wanted to discuss was the fact that he might be voicing the Joker in the new Harley Quinn animated series that's going to be on the DC Universe streaming service. I don't know when exactly that's going to start, but it's coming soon.
You know what? I'm starting to consider the role of Joker as like the rite of passage.
Yeah.
Like if you're a voice actor, you gotta do a Joker at some point, or at least try him at some point. It's like, and if you've done it, okay, you moved on, and you're like, it's like a little milestone. Like every stage actor has to try Shakespeare at some point, and then after they're done, they kind of move on. And I feel like
Joker is the modern Shakespeare, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's the way to go. But like, I'll put it this way: we've discussed Batman as a character before. He and his universe is one of the most malleable of all of them. Like, people can do different things. We've talked about Batman Ninja.
I was going to say, look at how cool Batman Ninja is.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I love that film.
And it's just like they can do not whatever they want. They have to treat it with some kind of respect, but they can kind of go in directions that we haven't seen before. Now, do I think Alan Tudyk's going to do that? Probably not. What I do think is, and based on have you guys seen the trailer actually for the Harley Quinn TV series?
No.
So, what's her name?
There's a trailer?
There is. I'll send you a link after this. It's very short. It's just a kind of a very brief intro to the character. But it's an animated TV show, and it's Harley is going to be voiced by Kaylee Cuoco.
Kaylee Cuoco, yeah.
Cuoco, yes.
Oh no, okay, I lost interest.
Yes.
No.
Same,
Watch the trailer.
Yeah,
I was
but
the
she
same.
Sucks.
No,
I watched
she
the
sucks.
trailer and I'm more on board. At least in terms of the tone, I'm more on board with what they're trying to do. And that's why this news of Alan Tudyk also gets me kind of excited about this. Because they seem to be going for a tone that we have not seen related to this character, to Batman and his kind of rogues gallery in quite some time.
Imagine that meme of what's his face from Futurama with the side eye. That's the face I'm making right now.
I am keeping an open mind. I have seen the trailer. I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually quite funny. It's only like a minute long anyway, but I thought it was quite funny. If they manage to pull a few episodes out of it that are as funny as that, I'll be quite happy. I'm not expecting a new wave of Batman villains or anything like that. I just want a funny take on it, and they seem to know. If DC know how to do anything, they know how to take the piss out of themselves.
Yes.
Do animation and take the piss out of themselves. If you've seen Teen Titans go to the movies, you know this. And this looks like a very similar tone, at least, if not animation style. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. But the news that Alan Tudyk might be voicing the Joker certainly got me excited for this project. So I'm hoping it delivers. We'll see. I'm guessing you guys don't agree.
Yeah, I really don't. I gotta be honest, I just do not care about this at all.
Look,
it's not for me.
Here's my point of view and here's my stance. The more work you give Alan Tudyk, the happier I am.
Yes.
Full stop.
Absolutely.
That's it. Don't care.
I can agree with that.
The rest,
and to
irrelevant.
be fair, I think Davo would probably watch this. He'd probably quite enjoy it. So, yeah. It's not for me, though.
Davo's my boy.
He is. He's a good lad. He's a good lad, is Davo.
Virtual fist bump, Davo.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to move on to something that I think you guys might actually be more interested in based on some news as well.
Possibly, yes.
Disney is considering rebooting the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which on its own, that series needs a bloody reboot if anything else, because there was the first movie, which is good, and everything else after it was utter tosh.
That's a good word use. I was trying to think, what's a good word to describe it?
Here's the thing that I have to say. I don't understand the whole reboot thing. It's a universe. Just make movies in that universe. You don't need to reboot anything. Leave those things where they are. They're fine. Whatever.
Yeah, the problem is, it's been proven over years that reboots just make more money.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but what the hell? Okay. Let's be honest here. they're not going to reboot the same story because Jack Sparrow does not exist without Johnny Depp. I'm sorry, that is just the truth.
It's true.
Whatever you think of Johnny Depp, that is not happening.
And there has been an update to this story since, and he has left.
He's not going to be involved.
Which is fine by me.
And that's why I thought you guys might be more interested in this story.
The thing that worries me about this, actually, to be honest, is who the writers are.
They're Deadpool writers. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but as you guys know, I do not really care for Deadpool, and I didn't really like the movies. And I think, to be honest, the writing is one of the worst parts of those movies. So,
I don't know how much writing there was actually in Deadpool.
Yeah,
I think it was more about
like most of it was improv.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I'm finding it, as much as I love a good pirate movie, I'm finding it hard to get excited about this.
I'll put it this way: the fact that I think Alex is right. I don't think you're going to see a Jack Sparrow back.
No, and to be honest, the character is pretty tired. Like, oh, hilarious, a really drunk pirate.
Yeah,
way.
But my point was more to do with the fact that if that character isn't back, it's unlikely most of the other characters are going to be back. In which case,
which again is fine by me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they're basically going to be using the pirate's name and then just kind of telling
let's have a lady pirate. Let's have like a lady pirate commander. That would be cool. Like Gina Davis in that other film that tanked. Do you remember? What was it called? The one with Gina Davis in.
Cutthroat Island.
It was dreadful.
Yeah, it was awful.
Had Gina Davis in it as a pirate lady, and that was great.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was so bad. Oh, the film was awful and it tanked, but she's great, so.
So my point is to underline the whole story that I pretty much summarized, is that they can't get Jack Sparrow back. That means they're pretty much not going to get the rest of the cast back. That pretty much is going to be just a story within the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, which I'm fine with, but I don't understand the reboot at the end of that sentence.
Because it's just short term. It's just a shorthand way of like summarizing what they're doing. In reality, it's going to be a new film. It'll be called Pirates of the Caribbean, and then it'll have maybe a suffix.
They're rebooting the franchise. They're not rebooting the story.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a new list of characters, a new plot, a new story.
Did you see the most recent one? Oh my god, it was appalling.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was so great.
We went to see it at the cinema, and it made me die inside.
Why? No, Joe.
This is
you
the thing.
don't go watch them at the cinema.
No, this
you
is the
sit
thing.
at home with a bottle of beers, and you laugh your ass off. That's how you watch those movies. What are you talking about?
Normally this is the thing that Davo and I do sometimes, because we like to go to the cinema once a week. You know, it's like our date night thing, right? And we sometimes deliberately go and see terrible films because it's really fun. Like, and we'll sit there just being like, oh my god, this is like when we went to see the most recent Transformers, which was absolutely horrid. Yeah,
can't believe you're still giving them money.
Yeah, we had good times. It was good fun.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh my goodness. Just to leave the story where it is then. Yeah, we don't have any details on what this reboot is going to be, but my idea is it's rebooting the franchise rather than the story, which means that it doesn't need to bring back any of the characters. It's just going to be using that name going forward for a new...
Yes.
Probably trilogy. They're already planning a trilogy. You know this because every bloody film comes out and it's already planning a trilogy.
Bloody Hobbit was a trilogy. What's up with that?
No, that was.
I quite like the Hobbit movies. I'm sorry.
Oh, get out, Joe.
He has a sled pulled by rabbits. Who doesn't like that?
No, Joe. There is some serious education here that has to go on. Cool. I'll send you a series of videos because my god.
I like it. I've to be honest, I've watched those videos and I appreciate everyone's point, and yes, they are bloated and a bit sort of self-indulgent, but I still like them and I don't care.
A bit, Joe. A bit. Anyway, let's leave this.
Please move on to topics because this is getting out of hand.
Let's leave this argument where it belongs, not talking about. We'll move on to the topics, and we're going to talk about something that I'm really intrigued because Alex, you have watched the start of this.
Yeah.
I want to hear your take first before I talk about anything else.
Because you said something to me. So we're talking about Daredevil Season 3.
Yes.
This is us ignoring the existence of Luke Cage Season 2 and Iron Fist Season 2 and going, well, Daredevil must be good. And then I wasn't going to watch it. And you told me I watched it and then something completely mind-blowing happens in like episode 7 and I went, ooh, I gotta watch it now. So now I'm 3 episodes in. So Di, if that was all a lie...
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a stern word with you.
I may have no. I actually, something happened in that show that genuinely made me, and the way they delivered it and the consequences of it genuinely made me kind of not rethink the character, but sort of, I don't know, it just hit me. And I even right now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to... I can't actually discuss what it is because it would be a spoiler.
Yes, please, no spoilers. I haven't started it yet.
Exactly. So I'm going to keep this incredibly light. You guys have watched The Defenders, right?
No.
Yep.
Oh, no, I watched like half and then gave up because even the beauty and majesty that is Sigourney Weaver could not keep me watching that show any longer.
No problem. Do you mind if I kind of spoil what happens?
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
It's very simple. I'm not going to say everything that happens. I'm just going to say at the end of that series, Daredevil decides to try and sacrifice himself to save the others,
sure.
And a building falls on him.
Oh,
so you're like, fair enough, he's dead.
Is it done comedy style, like in that old silent movie when the house?
No. I'll tell you worse. While this is happening, look, Defenders, who gives a crap?
Yeah,
he's making out with Elektra, so the building falls on top of
Elektra's
them, and they're standing
there
making out, and I'm like, come on. That's like the cheesiest image ever.
She's the worst in that series.
So, the good news is
dead,
once the building falls on them, you find out at the end of Defenders, that he survived.
Okay. Obviously.
So this is where this season picks up. He is alive.
Is Elektra dead? Please say yes.
Spoilers, I guess? I don't know.
We'll simply say that she does not... I don't think this is a spoiler. She does not appear in season 3.
Excellent.
Oh, good.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say whether that means she's alive or dead because, well, she doesn't appear. I genuinely don't know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. That's even more spoilery than I should have said anyway. Right, sorry about that. So, what I will say is the series picks up from there. Matt Murdock is in a bit of a bad way. A bloody building fell on him, so he's not exactly, top shape. But he needs to recover. So he ends up in the church of the priest that he's kind of talking to in seasons 1 and 2. His kind of main tie to morality.
Because symbolism!
Basically. Yes, because symbolism. And he's being treated by the head nun who was actually kind of in charge of the orphanage that he stayed at when he was a child. So he knows this nun kind of well, like she basically raised him.
Is she a hot nun? Is she a sexy nun? Oh,
no, she's okay.
Well, yeah, she's not bad looking. I'm just saying that
that's
she's
not
a
why
nun,
she's there.
So therefore she definitely
This is not the
cannot
Deadpool, the porn version.
Yes, exactly.
No, sorry, not the Devil. Daredevil, the porn version. It's just Daredevil.
Exactly. So while that's happening, pretty much everybody outside of just that church, so the priest and the nun and Matt Murdock himself, think that he's dead. So going on with their lives, you have Foggy, his former
best friend,
yeah, and Karen Page, who was a kind of a sort of a love interest, sort of not, sort of whatever. So those two have been going on with their lives, and while that's happening, for some reason, and it's never it's not explained at the start, Wilson Fisk starts to cooperate with the FBI. And he starts turning in some of the people who he formerly worked with or is aware of. So I think the first group he throws under the bus are a bunch of Albanian gangsters and things like that.
Who are not happy.
And because of that happening, the FBI kind of decide, okay, if we make a deal with Fisk, he might be able to give us more. And that is the deal. And the entire deal is prefaced on Wilson Fisk is willing to give the FBI more information that will lead to more arrests and all that kind of good stuff. If they give him a modicum of freedom. Basically, they move him out of the prison into a kind of a penthouse if they give him some of his objects or, some of his possessions back, like some of his art that he loved and things like that. And one of the other things that they want to do, or he wants to do, is secure immunity for his fiancée, I suppose.
Okay, yeah.
Wife.
I quite liked that
Vanessa.
love story in the first season. I think that worked quite well, actually, with Wilson and Vanessa.
And I think I'm not going to say any more about the story, just the fact that Matt is recovering, Wilson Fisk is clearly making moves, and the rest of the characters don't know that Matt's alive. That's all I'm going to that's what I'm going to leave it on. I'm also going to mention very quickly that Bullseye, a character who I honestly thought was just the word actually makes sense here, a comic book villain.
I remember him, Colin Farrell in the movie.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
And that's the idea I had in my head. What they do with that character in this show is outstanding.
Oh,
wait.
Yes.
The FBI guy?
Poindexter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he was so cool.
Yes.
Like, seriously, one of the coolest intros to a character ever.
Yes.
See, Davo, bless him, has watched half of this without me because he didn't think I wanted to watch it. And I was like, what?
You have to catch up, Joe. You have to catch up.
So we had words.
All I'm going to say is that's as much
up,
of the story I want to give away because I want to keep it as light touch as possible. I've already bloody given away the Electra not being in it kind of
but that's good news.
Yeah, no, that makes it better. Like, you're encouraging more people to watch it. Come on, let's be honest here.
What I am going to say is in my opinion, the writing, the acting, and the action in this season is better than all of that in 1 and 2.
Oh, okay,
seasons
then.
1 and 2. I think this is the best season of Daredevil so far. I think it is that thing that happens in episode 6, or I don't even know if it's episode 6. I can't remember exactly. All I'll tell you is something happens around halfway through, and it's kind of one of those things that just makes me think about the character and how. It's one of those times when something happens and you wonder how you would react to it.
Right.
And it's so well written and it's so well delivered. And what I love about this show more than anything is the stuff that happens in the plot is all driven by what the characters decide to do. And what the characters decide to do is so well kind of shown. Like, you kind of understand exactly why they're making this decision. So it almost feels like the plot is inevitable, if you know what I mean. You put the characters in a certain situation and things happen, and they happen not predictably, but they happen in line with what the character is going to do because you know the characters after 3 seasons. And it rewards you because you feel like you know them. You can almost see what they're going to decide to do. So when they do decide to do it, it's not that it's predictable. It's just that it kind of rewards you. It makes you think, oh, I really know this character now. You know, I don't know how to describe it. That's just the writing. That's what I'm overly explaining is the writing is very good. But I wanted to kind of get that clear because, yeah, I loved this season. By the end of the season, like in the other Marvel shows, even when they're only 13 episodes long, some episodes still, no matter which show you look at, feel like filler. There's at least 1 or 2 episodes that feel like they don't really need to happen. This show, I think, top to bottom, is incredibly well done. None of it feels like filler. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend anyone watch it. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, that's my plan for kind of the weekend, actually, is to sort of catch up on it a bit.
Cool. Alex, did you want to add anything? Because I know you watched the start of the show.
I'm a bit hesitant to add anything because, as I said, I'm right in the middle and I don't really like... Look, you know it's Daredevil. It's actually been consistently pretty good for all of its seasons. So me telling you that you should probably watch it is not going to be anything new. But in the sort of get in the nuanced, detailed discussions, which we usually do for stuff like Jessica Jones and Daredevil before, and Punisher to a certain extent, I don't think I'm there yet because I think I'm still very much in we're setting up everything that's going to happen with these characters because I've just met Bullseye. I had introduction to him very recently and I'm still kind of trying to understand where he's coming from.
I'm really interested what you think as the show goes on. So keep me up to date, all right?
We'll do. Look, I'm sure we're going to have a revisit once, we finish season 3 and we want to chat a bit about it more. We'll revisit it on this podcast and it'll be fine.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm still very much at the beginning. I'm enjoying it a lot. I like the sort of kind of lose of faith that Matthew is going through. I like the lack of Elektra. Wilson Fisk, I'm kind of trying to get used to him because I missed the first season. So to me, I don't know if he always...
He's really good. He's the best.
No, he's really good. But he never goddamn answers a question with a straight answer.
No.
It's always like a monologue. You ask him, like, how are you doing? Well, when I was a young boy. I'm like, just answer the goddamn question, man.
The important thing to know about Wilson Fisk is obviously he's a big, imposing character. A lot of his power comes from the fact that he's made these huge connections and he's a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. But the main thing with him is he's a manipulator. Mm-hmm. The reason he's gotten to the position he's gotten to is he's able to kind of make people act against themselves. And yeah, that's going to become an important part as the season goes on. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Fair enough. So I'm going to quickly talk about the chilling adventures of Sabrina.
Again, no spoilers.
Okay, not going to tell you spoilers. I've only really watched 2 episodes. And the reason why I'm talking about this before I finish watching the season is because I think people should check it out.
Okay.
Look, it's not going to blow your mind. It does have points where characters are like monologuing about their plans and what they're doing completely unreasonably, but at the same time, I think this is a completely self-aware show. The one that knows that it's ridiculous when it's ridiculous. The one that plays on that part. You could, even with the first episode, there were a couple of points where I rolled my eyes at, but there were also a couple of points when I was like, that is cool. That is so cool. So there is a good mixture of cringy that is just cringy that was purposefully cringy and done in a very good way, and just some really cool twists on like magic and devil and all the dark stuff. Plus, what I didn't realize about the chilling adventures of Sabrina, that one of the aunts, Zelda Spellman, is played by Miranda Otto, and everything that Miranda Otto is in automatically becomes so much better.
Yes, she's great.
Yep.
Excellent.
Argon should have ended up with the oven, is all I'm saying. Anyway.
I am no man. I love that bit.
Yep. Anyway, 2 episodes in, I will return once I finish the season, but I think people should check it out. It's on Netflix. If anyone's missed our conversation from before.
When Davo returns from Paris Games Week, we're planning to binge it. Yeah.
Bunge it.
Yes, Bunget.
All right, I'm going to talk about a Switch game called Gal Metal, right? And it is exactly what you probably think. I think, Joe, I gave you a
Does it has metal and gals as in girls?
Yes.
Gals? No?
Yes.
I
both of those
do not
things.
understand this game. I've tried to play it when I was at Dies last weekend, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's okay, so it's a free-form rhythm game, and it's on the Switch. You can play the game with Joy-Cons, which I still have not actually done yet. You can play the game like taking the Joy-Cons off the Switch and kind of using them as like drumsticks. I haven't played it that way yet. I've just been using the buttons because I've been playing entirely in handheld mode. It's a game that's from DMM Games, and I got a code from the publisher for this, by the way, just to say that. It's going to be releasing in Europe next Friday. So next Friday being the 2nd of November, so it's probably when this episode might drop. We'll see. So I hope, because I actually need to speak to you, Alex. There's an embargo, so it needs to be out 2nd of November earliest.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Anyway.
No, that's probably fine.
Good. The reason I wanted to talk about...
That's definitely fine.
The reason I wanted to talk about this game is I'm really enjoying it. It's different to almost any other rhythm game I've played in the past in that it's freeform. So it's not like Rock Band or Guitar Hero where there's like a track and there's like certain notes that you have to hit. It's not like the other rhythm games that you've probably seen where you see the buttons around the screen and you see a kind of a light moving towards the buttons, and as they hit the button you have to hit the corresponding button on the controller. It's not like that at all. It's all to do with listening to the music and just timing your drum hits with that. And it's incredibly freeform. It doesn't tell you which kind of rhythms to go with. You just kind of go with simple ones and you'll kind of get into a rhythm, and then you can kind of, every so often, you can just sort of go for a more complex rhythm to kind of get more points. And the entire game is about progressing through a campaign, a story of about 13 levels, each one with a different song. And throughout those, you kind of use the drums to sort of play along, basically. And you can use, as I said, as you progress through the game, you get new rhythms to learn. And as you learn them, you can then introduce them into your music as you're going along. You can even go back and play the old songs again and kind of use those more intricate rhythms earlier as well. So it's incredibly freeform. It's very kind of liberating, actually. It doesn't feel like you're constantly failing. You know you're failing when you kind of hear the drums as you're playing and they're not really in time. So you kind of can correct yourself, which is fairly unique in terms of rhythm games. I don't remember playing a game like that where that happens. The story, I mentioned the campaign. The story is also pretty straightforward. There is a teenage girl metal band at a school with 4 members. And one of the members is the drummer. And she happens to get abducted by aliens at the start of the story. And she also gets abducted with you. Now, you're, by default, I think, a male character. I don't think you can change that. I don't think you can, at least. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because what happens is you, the main male character, when you're delivered back into the world, you end up taking over the body of this girl who's the drummer. She's still inside of your head, though. Like you can hear her, like she's a second mind inside in your head. You just happen to be controlling her. But because you're controlling her and you're not a drummer, she needs to teach you, and that's basically how the game is getting around to teaching you how to drum, because like she should know how to drum, so you know what I mean. It's a pretty basic story. But the idea is the aliens hate music. So you're going to use metal to fight them.
I mean, what?
Right.
What the what?
Yes. So you're going to use metal to fight them, and over a series of gigs, which is learning the music first and then playing them, you're going to defeat the aliens. And obviously, as the music goes on, it gets a bit more complex and so on. It's not licensed music. It's all kind of remakes of sort of older songs, just recomposed into a kind of a metal version of them. But you just kind of use the drums then to sort of play along and earn points. And if you get enough points, you move on to the next level. That is almost the entirety of the game. It's I'm not going to say it's outstanding, it's brilliant or anything, but I think it's funny. Like the writing in it is quite funny. I think the characters are really interesting. Like just kind of unique. I haven't really seen characters like this before. And the gameplay is fun. I'm still not bored with it. Like, I've completed the game now and I'm still not bored with it. When the game launches on Friday, they're actually going to be dropping a DLC pack called the Encore Pack for free. And it's going to come with 5 additional... I'm wrong. It's not going to be for free. But they're going to be dropping 5 additional songs and 5 new story missions to correspond with them. And I'm incredibly tempted to actually pick those up. It's fun. It does sound very basic, and it kind of is, but that's what makes it good, if you know what I mean. I think I would have gotten, if I kept failing songs as stuff got more complex, I think I'd get a bit kind of annoyed and might have dropped it. But the fact that I can kind of revert back to the simple stuff and then start trying to pull off the complex rhythms as we go, it just makes it more interesting, and I'm really enjoying my time with it.
Good.
Yeah, that's all I can really say. So far, as I said, I haven't tried it with the Joy-Cons yet, using it sort of as drums themselves, because that looks like it might be interesting. I've just been using the buttons, but as you go, it gets really complex. So when you actually start pulling off some of the really complex stuff, and what's really good as well is once you've completed a show, it replays the entire song again in a replay mode without you inputting anything, but you can hear what you sounded like. And some of it is embarrassing, but some of it, when you pull off stuff, is like, yeah, I did that. And yeah, it's really, really good. The only other gameplay thing that I didn't really mention was this metal band are just a bunch of teenage girl friends, and they have like a chat, so you can actually text them. It's all pre-input kind of responses, but there are kind of dialogue choices. And it's just interesting, and that's where most of the humor actually comes from. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I would recommend, if you're looking for a rhythm game on the Switch, I would be quite, I think this would be a really good version to get, or a really good rhythm game to get. That's all I can really say. I don't know how else to sell it, because again, it's not great, but it's very good.
Well, you know my track record with rhythm games.
Don't worry, you don't need to use the kind of the chopsticks on the drums. You can just use
it. Fair enough.
So, right, we're going to move on to Joe. I'm not even going to try and attempt to pronounce this, so I'm just going to leave it to you.
Yeah, strap yourselves in for lots of improper pronunciation of Japanese words. So I, in the last sort of couple of weeks, have fallen down a rabbit hole, and I cannot climb out of it. So yeah, I'm going to talk about Hakuoki, which I've started to play on Vita. Now, this is Hakuoki, if people are not too familiar, is an otome series, which was originally released on the PlayStation 2, and there's been a whole series of games since, a lot of which never made it kind of outside of Japan and North America, really. And essentially what the series is all about is that you play as this girl, and it's like an otome visual novel, so it's like a romance novel with women in mind, and it's kind of, you make choices, and it's all very exciting. And yeah, so you you play as this girl called Chizuru Yukimura. You can change the first name, so you can call yourself whatever you want, and in the story, so on Vita, which is how I'm playing it, it's been the story has been released in two parts, called Kyoto Winds and Edo Blossoms, and they're kind of like an up-to-date sort of collection of the previous stories, kind of just collected in these two games. And so in the start, you are it's kind of set in late 1800s period Japan, so it's like a historical story, and you're heading to Kyoto to search for your father, who's gone missing. And while you're wandering the streets of Kyoto, you find yourself attacked by some people, and you're rescued by some men who turn out to be the Shinsengumi. And the Shinsengumi is like a specialized police force. And this was a real thing. Like, the Shinsengumi were a real life historical specialized police force who were representatives of like the shogun in Kyoto, and they were there to sort of protect the shogun's interests, kind of thing. And they were kind of like samurai type things. So it's very, very cool. They're also looking for your father for other reasons that become clear as the game goes on. And so they kind of take you in with them, because they don't want you going around talking about them and talking about what they're doing, so you end up with them. And of course, as things progress, you start to become part of the Shinsengumi family, and in the game, you have romance options, right? So,
hello.
Yeah, Alex perks up. Yeah, see, this is why I am fully down this rabbit hole. It's so there is a canon person because there's been an anime series made of this as well, right? Which, again, why I say I've fallen down the rabbit hole, because I've gone and bought all the anime now, so I'm gonna watch all the anime and stuff. So there is one specific character who is like the canon character that you're meant to kind of end up with, but I picked Hajime Saito, who is just hot as balls. He's like really quiet and taciturn and sort of quite serious, and really, really interesting character. And he, again, a lot of these Shinsengumi characters are based on real life Shinsengumi samurai. So this was quite interesting, and obviously, maybe they're being massively disrespectful to their histories by kind of putting them in this romance story. But it's really cool, and I'm just really enjoying where the story is going, and I'm sort of things happen, and it takes like a bit of a fantastical turn. So there's these things called Furies or Rosetsu, who are like kind of like vampire demons, sort of like Oni demon type things. And I won't say what, but they kind of, their story kind of interlinks with what's going on with you and the Shinsengumi. But you know what? We're all there for the romance with a game like this, and it's yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's good.
Yeah, with the hot samurai man. Duh.
So I'm on the second game now. I'm on Edo Blossoms rather, pronouncing it wrong. And I'm sort of towards the end of the game. So my romance choice with Hajime Saito is all getting a bit steamy.
And
it's just actually, it's really quite adorable. Like, it's not like dirty, like it doesn't feel like dirty or sleazy or anything like that, because obviously these games, like otome games, are made for a woman's perspective, right? So it's actually really sweet and really quite adorable and nice, and the story is really interesting. It looks beautiful. Like, the art style for this visual novel is great. Like, it's got really, really good art. And it's just, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And so now I am so far down this rabbit hole, like specifically with Hakuoki, which I'm just loving the setting and the characters and the world and the story. But I think there's a whole, I've been searching, right, I need more otome games for my Vita, please. Because, you know, I commute to work every day, so I need something to play on the commute. And I'm loving bringing my Vita out of retirement for some fun Japanese romance.
So it's only on Vita, is it?
No, so hang on, let me...
I think it's on 3DS as well, but...
Yeah,
I have none of these things,
yes,
so...
there was on 3DS. I think a previous one was on PS3, like I think Demons of the Fleeting Blossom, I think that's what it's called, was on PS3, and then the ones that are on Vita are like that entire story split into two. And it works, like they split it in a good place. And they've added, I think for the Vita release, they added some more romance options and some different routes you can take and some sort of expanded story. And it's just really nice. And you do find yourself getting really attached to the characters. And even though it's all a kind of, you know, perhaps a little bit silly and it's all, you know, kind of a bit like that, it's still, I'm very, very enjoying it, really enjoying it. And it's kind of just... yeah, just getting swept along with the silly romance of it all.
God, I just found the whole section of mildly sexual images that I've been clicking through for the last couple of minutes. It's okay, I'm fine.
I know, right?
It's all good.
You know, there's, because of reasons, there's bits in Edo Blossoms where your beloved might have to, like, drink your blood a little bit. And, it's
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's all right. So I'm quite enjoying it, but it is very sweet. It is really.
I
quite
feel like
adorable.
I'm intruding here. I'll be
possibly. Sorry,
no. So I've ordered all of the anime that you can get in this country, and I'm gonna have to sit down. But I know that the one thing that's gonna bother me with the anime is that it's not gonna be my beloved in the anime, because, you know, I picked the character that isn't canon. So in the anime, she's going to end up with the guy that is the canon choice, and I'm going to be like, but no, you should be with Saito. What are you doing?
I'm looking at I'm trying to find the picture with all the boys, and I'm trying to figure out which one is your boy.
Hajime Saito. If you're looking at pictures from Kyoto, he's got like a white. It looks like he's wearing like a white scarf as part of his uniform.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I quite liked him from the beginning because he's very kind of quiet and sort of serious, and like when he says things, he kind of he says them with purpose. Like some of the other characters are quite kind of brash and stuff, whereas he is very much not. And so I liked him from the start. So yeah, so he's my pick, but yeah.
Alex is trying to find her best boy now.
I tell you what, yeah, Hajime Saito, 100% my best boy. Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because obviously these characters are all like in their early 20s and they're really young, and I'm an old lady, and I'm just like, yeah, never mind. So it's good fun if you want. If you're looking for a nice romantic visual novel set in a samurai period historical Japan, you could do a lot worse than this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll go over this very quickly, but that is a reason why I probably will not be playing Hakuoki, Kyoto Winds, or Edo Blossoms for a very, very long time. because I've been playing this game for 10 hours and I'm not out of tutorial zone yet.
Oh, God.
It is related to, as I hinted, to our Time Waster of the Week, but I've been playing Divinity Original Sin 2.
Nice.
Oh boy, guys.
It's a biggin.
Just under 10 hours. It is a biggin.
It's meant to be excellent, but Christ, I do not have enough time in my life for something like that. Jesus.
Yeah, so I think from now on, my games will be Divinity and maybe occasional multiplayer game because I don't have time for anything else. Considering as well that I've been playing it various options with the co-op, and I think this is the game, and this is the kind of the credit to how good it actually is. I think we restarted it 5 or 6 times. So we played the opening bit and maybe the next hour, so the next place where you go to, maybe 6 or 5 times. Because we were, like, unhappy something happened, started playing fun game, it got overridden, blah, 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 blah. Like, there were multiple reasons for why that happened, but it did. Anyway, but I think now, fingers crossed, that under 10 hour playthrough that we have is the one. And we're gonna keep playing. But yeah, it's everything that you heard about it. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The story is so far really great, although it takes... Like, it is fed in drips and drabs. I think it's kind of thing you have to puzzle and piece everything together yourself more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Just through having conversations with everyone. What I love is that you can basically talk to anyone. Like, you have an NPC, you come up, you talk to them, stuff happens. That kind of thing. Because I have the enhanced... Well, there's PS4 one is enhanced edition, but I think you get him for pre-order. I'm sure someone will correct me if that's not wrong. But I have a little companion, which is basically a squirrel or a skeleton cat. And his name is Solora. And he treats me like I'm his shield. And he constantly talks to his cat/horse thing. And he's the most adorable thing ever. And, yeah. Anyway, I love him. He's so pretentious, but so much fun. The other thing, you can have companions. So companions is a big thing here. So I gotta mention my favorite, Alex Wilton Regan, aka the Inquisitor, aka Aya, aka Sabine in this series. So yay! So yay for having her in the party, or for having her in the world, because sometimes they don't have to be in the party. Anyway, there's so many things. I'm gonna be returning to this topic so many times over and over and over again. I just wanted to kind of go in and mention it because we've been talking about the documentary and I've actually played the game. It is really complicated. It's really easy to lose fight. It's turn-based combat, so you have to be really careful, which doesn't bode well for me because I do like to walk around the enemy instead of stabbing them, just because, you know, makes sense to me, but it's wasting valuable turns. But it's gonna take over my life. I mean, it's really taken over my life.
Bye, Alex. Bye.
Bye. Have a good time. Yeah.
See you in a year.
I'm a beautiful elf lady, and one thing. Okay. So there's 2 stories I have to tell about this because this game is pure freaking evil. So number 1, when in all my characters that I have created, I chosen Pet Pal, which allows you to speak to animals because, of course, this is the thing I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, this is happening. Just whatever character I'm playing, when I was playing a beautiful lizard lady, an elf lady, they're all have Pet Pal because speaking to pets is the best. So my first interaction was with this dog called Buddy, and I love Buddy. So Buddy has a problem that he lost his friend, but I rubbed his belly and he was like, I love you. And I was like, yes, Buddy, yes, belly rubs. It's all you ever need. It's amazing. But after that, my experience with talking to animals just went downhill. Because the first thing, so there are these hound masters that have hounds, right? And in the fight, sometimes you have to fight hounds, which I do not like. I do not like killing animals, but whatever. If they're angry hounds and they're chasing for my neck, that's just the thing that's gonna happen. That's the thing I have to do. Anyway, so we came up and there's like a battlefield, and then there's this dog just barking at its dead owner, and I come up to the dog and I speak to it, trying to find out what's wrong, and the dog just basically telling to its owner like, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. So I had to tell the poor animal that its master is dead. And then it didn't believe me, so it attacked us, and I had to kill the dog. And I was like, game, are you fucking insane? What are you doing to me? That is just so evil. But no, it didn't stop there. The game did not stop there. It decided, you did not have enough sad with animals. Do you want an uber sad? How about you come across this bear, and the bear is dead, and you're like, aw, that is so sad, the bear is dead. Move on. And as you move on, you come across the lost bear cub, and you have to tell the lost bear cub that the dead bear is his mom, and it's dead.
I don't want to play this game anymore.
No, it sounds horrible.
Anyway, so, yeah, my pet pal did not work out. Like, I thought it was, be birds helping me dress in the morning and cuddling with all the animals, squirrels riding, I don't know, my head, I don't know, and furry bears cuddles. I don't know, I just thought cuddles and nice things and talking to animals, and apparently I just got a lot of death.
Oh, great.
But the game is great, by the way. The game is amazing. I love the game.
Well,
play it all the time. So cool. But yeah.
Thank you very much, Alex, for episode 1 of Alex Plays Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to episode 2.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Please come back with some happy stories. Please.
I'm totally planning to romance a skeleton dude, so it's all going to be great.
I wonder if he's going to get a boner.
Hey!
All right. Oh,
if you think we didn't make those jokes already, you're wrong.
Yeah, I know. It's probably a well-worn path. All right. In that case, I'm going to move on then and just say thank you very much to everybody for listening. This has been episode 152 of Geek Speak. Unfortunately, the last episode didn't go up in time, so we haven't had many, or if any, shout-outs. But if you would like to give us some shout-outs, you can do so. You can go onto BigRedBarel.com, go to the forum thread for this episode and drop us a comment there. Ask us any questions you want, whatever. We'll respond there. You can also go onto Facebook. That's facebook.com/BigRedBarel and comment there, and we can answer you, or someone will, because I won't, because I'm not on Facebook. But someone will. Someone will. On Twitter, you can contact us at BigRedBarel. Use the hashtag GeekSpeak and we'll be able to find your tweets more easily. You can also contact us directly. I am at Diarmuid_S.
I'm at DustyTulip_.
I'm at Pixel Ritual.
Also, if you leave us an iTunes review, I will make love to you. I'll just leave that there.
Ooh.
Anyway, Tuesdays are Tuesdays. And every Tuesday, we have Tabletop Tuesday, board game night in Loading Bar in Dalston in London town. Every week, we have a new feature game, and if you play the game, you don't even have to win, you just have to play. Let Alex or whoever's there on the night, let them know. They'll put you in a draw, and you can win a copy of the game. How good is that? I don't know what the game is this week, but if you want to find out, go to the BigRedBarel.com website, go to the top left-hand post, and the latest game for that coming week will be up there. It also lists what games are in the bar itself, so even if you don't want to play the feature game, the bar has a crap ton of other games. Also, Josephine, Joanna,
yes.
Joe,
yes.
Basically.
None of these, that's fine.
So
none of these is her name, damn it.
But that's
keep
fine.
Guessing.
It's fine.
Jo
Yes.
streams her gameplay every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday evening at 7 p.m. British time.
That is correct.
She is currently in the middle of an Evil Within 2 playthrough.
Oh God, yes.
That where she's being attacked by porridge tentacle monsters.
Porridge monsters.
It's great fun to watch. And great fun to hear her scream while having a cough, so it sounds like she's basically dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to watch that, go to twitch.tv/pixelritual.
Please
give her a
yes.
follow, give her a like, give her all that kind of good stuff, and comment and join us, because we usually have fun on those streams.
We do have a laugh, don't we? Christ,
Yes.
This game at the moment, honestly, just So yeah, in the last episode we had an incident with a big giant horrible woman with a ripsaw for an arm who tried to kill me. There
was also the walking camera.
Oh God, I was just gonna say there was that awful monster with the camera for a face. And then we had a giant. There's a big giant porridge abyss worm.
Yes, it's yeah.
Delightful. I think is the word you're looking for. Delightful.
But that's not the only game we'll be playing on the stream.
Exactly.
Like we'll be doing other things as we go along.
The good news as well is that your VODs are up for about 60 days.
Yeah,
so if you have missed a few, you can easily catch up. And they're all on that channel.
I thought it was only 14 days, but apparently I get 60 because I have Prime, so...
Nice.
Yeah, 60 days.
All right, I think that's everything.
Yeah. I think that is it.
Excellent.
That is a month of episodes.
Yeah, sorry. I got carried away talking about Japanese samurai romance.
Yeah, no, I strung on way too long about Gal Metal. Go play Gal Metal.
I've enjoyed both of those topics, and the Japanese ones especially.
Yeah, it's hot. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do.
Do you guys want to... Will I just leave the WhatsApp group that we have so you can share pictures and all that kind of
stuff? Shall I just
or actually just leave me in there and
just
share the pictures.
All the best
That's
boys.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right. With that, I've been Diarmuid.
I've been Buttocks. Wait, is that how I'm doing this now?
Buttocks.
Yeah, sure. Buttocks. There you go.
Yes.
And I've been thinking about Japanese samurai boys.
Of course you have.
Which sounds less weird than it's less weird than it sounds, I promise.
And with that,
you just made it
bid you
weird.
goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Buttocks.
You and your ears are quite welcome
for the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
to BigRedBarel.com
for more podcasts,
news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
Levels. That's I think that's a bit better. Yeah, a little bit less intense. Let me do butts. Too low. Butts.
I'm leaving all this butts in.
So many
gonna
butts.
Be outtakes at the end of the episode, and everyone's just going butts.
All of the butts. Butts. Yeah, that's
Buttocks.
Buttocks. Buttocks.
And there is your extra content, folks. 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 Your extra content.